for the suburbs.
Yes, well, this afternoon's storm was great for some of our suburbs, Tomo, but because these systems are incredibly isolated, one suburb might get absolutely drenched by heavy downpours, while the other, just a couple of k's down the road, will end up with nothing in the gauge. Bickley was the lucky one today, collecting almost 20 millimetres. The Swan Valley just over 9 mil, but it really drops off from there. Around 4 mil at the airport and under a millimetre in the city. And while it wasn't as menacing as yesterday's storm, a wind gust was measured over 80 kilometres an hour around the hills, and 11,000 lightning strikes lashed the Perth metro before it all shifted southwest of the state, where the warning zone has since been cancelled. Now, there is more of the same tomorrow, Tomo, but there will be a break in the skies. I'll tell you when to expect that, along with the rest of the forecast details coming up.
Looking forward to it. Sherry, thank you. On the way.
Who doesn't love a cream puff, Tomo? Yes, we do have another downpour forecast for tomorrow and Friday before the wet weather clears for the weekend. I'll have your details coming up next. Welcome back. Well, it was yet another stormy day for Perth. It didn't quite leave the trail of destruction that yesterday's did, but it still produced gale force winds, heavy rain and 11,000 strikes of lightning across the metro. And even though the rain seemed heavy in the city around lunchtime, it missed the gauge and we ended up with less than a millimetre, but we did reach a top of 30 degrees just after 11 a.m. Now, with a slow-moving trough along the west coast here, we will see another couple of stormy days to finish us up through the working week, but it's not the only storm impacting the west. Ex-cyclone Esther has moved over the border into the Kimberley now, and there is a warning current for localised heavy falls up to 100 millimetres and potentially damaging wind gusts to 90 kilometres an hour. But the latest advice is that it's not likely to redevelop into a cyclone offshore. Taking a quick look ahead around the country now, possible storms in Brisbane, 30 degrees, an overcast day for Sydney, 25, a sunny morning in Melbourne with a cloudy afternoon and a top of 21. To the west again, and towns through the north of the Kimberley will endure heavy downpours for the next couple of days as ex-cyclone Esther moves in. Kununurra could collect up to 70 millimetres, so a flood watch warning is in place for the Kimberley and Fitzroy rivers. Widespread storms across the south again. We're still seeing some decent downpours through the grain growing areas. 15 millimetres of rain could potentially reach Narrogin tomorrow. Now, there is a strong wind warning for Perth local waters as easterlies kick up to 20 or 30 knots in the morning and seas pushing to a big 2 metres. But come tomorrow, we still have more of that stormy weather ahead. Some of it will arrive in the morning, a bit of a break through the day, and then they could fire up again in the evening. We are expecting a little bit more rain around the foothills and hills as well. Up to 15 millimetres is expected in Armidale. Closer to the city though, just up to 10 mil, and we are looking at a top of 30 degrees on the way. We'll get the low. It is going to take a little while for us to get the summer stats together, but at this point it is looking like a warmer than normal season, and depending on the rain in the next couple of days here in Perth with those storms, it could potentially be drier as well.
Okay, I want to find out who's counting those 11,000 lightning strikes. Yeah. I want to do some research on that.
I don't want that job.
Sherry, thank you.